So I'm Melissa Shaw with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is Mickey Fulp, the mercenary geologist. And thanks for joining me, Mickey.
Hey, thanks for having me, Melissa.
So your talk tomorrow is called A Contrarian's Call on Copper, and in your newsletter you write you have a bullish view on copper in the mid to long term. And can you explain why you think the copper price will rise?
Well, I have to say I'm a short-term bear in the copper market. I don't think it's going anywhere very quickly, but look at it this way, there's 85 million more people on the planet every year. We use 3.5% more copper every year on an annualized basis starting since 1900. So that's a long time. So question is where is copper going to come from? Because what we saw in the early 2010s was this massive build out of copper production, or the ability to produce copper, and a lot of that came from Peru. Peru increased its copper production about 50% over the last couple of years. So now we've exhausted those new developments, and because of the downturn in base metals for the last 5 years, we haven't explored or developed, so we have a pending shortage in copper.
And are there any factors that could throw copper off its positive price trajectory?
Off its price trajectory. In the short term, I would say if Trump's infrastructure build-out does not come to pass, that's negative for all industrial metals.
I was reading actually as well that there was an increase in scrap copper that came online, and can you talk a little bit about that and whether that would have an effect on the price?
Well, scrap copper is competitive with refined copper, so when prices or supply-demand fundamentals get a little out of kilter, the demand for scrap can go up or it can go down. So that market probably in terms of copper usage, now this is not always destructive copper usage because you have this scrap in the equation, is significant on a yearly basis, but that ebbs and flows depending on refined copper, copper concentrates, and China is kind of the 800-pound gorilla on this block. They use about 40% of the copper in the world. They do not produce enough copper, so that's a bit of a wild card in the copper play always, is what the Chinese are doing. Are they stockpiling it? Are they hoarding it? Are they dumping it on the market? So it's a complicated business, as most industrial metals are.
So can you tell me about a copper explorer that you believe has potential?
Well, the company that I've just written up, and my subscribers already know about it, and it'll be out in the public very quickly, is Trilogy Metals, and that's morphed out of Nova Copper. I really like these projects in central, northwest Alaska. I think they've got really good potential. Giant deposits, world class, high grade. They require they're remote, lots of infrastructure build out required, but for a longer term copper play, that's my pick.
And you wrote recently about, after being a long-time zinc bear, that you found a zinc-focused company that you think has potential. Have you changed your mind about the zinc market, or is it just this particular company?
No, I've really changed my mind about the zinc market, and so I have a shorter-term view on the zinc market. I think in the short to mid-term, the zinc market's going to prosper. We have a zinc concentrate supply deficit. Production was down 6% last year, so you kind of do the math. We have a maybe 2 to 3 year window in the zinc market. I think zinc companies are going to do quite well, and so I made a zinc play.
What is a zinc explorer that you think has potential?
So I am an early stage shareholder in a new zinc company called Hannon Metals, and Hannon Metals has bought Lundin Mining's Kilbrecken project in southwestern Ireland. There's going to be a resource estimate come out soon on that. Immense exploration potential in a really big land position. So we wrote that up. I'm a shareholder, a sponsor of my website, so I'd encourage viewers to take a look at Hannon Metals on the Venture Exchange.
What's the most exciting thing about them for you?
They paid $1 million for a project that has $30 million in the ground, and it's got lots of potential, lots of shows all over the place that have not been followed up. Right share structure, people I've worked with before, and comfortable with the project. So.
Great. And is there anything else that you wanted to talk about while we're here?
Got a new gold pick coming out soon, so we'll keep that one under wraps for now. But I run a free subscription service, and anybody that wants my stock picks, you sign up, give me an email address and a name. Doesn't even have to be a real name, but we do need a real email address. You get my stock picks right when they're published.
Great. Thank you so much, Mickey.
All right, thank you.
And Melissa Shaw with Investing News Network.